Hi, my name is Hannah Gill, and this is my information and diversity speech about school lunches in the U.S. versus school lunches in England. On January 26, 2012, President Obama signed a bill that would change regulations for school lunches in the U.S. After this bill was signed, many students that received government-funded lunches began to complain because lunches were not as good as they once were. Many students asked the question, do all countries have school lunches like ours, and do they all have the same rules and regulations we do? With research, I have found that school lunches in the U.S. and school lunches in England have similarities and differences in terms of their health regulations, prices, and allergy regulations. First, I will compare the health regulations on school lunches in the U.S. and the school lunches in England. The bill President Obama signed in 2012 requires school lunches that provide government-funded lunches to increase the availability of fruit, vegetables, whole grains, fat-free, and low-fat milk, and reduce levels of sodium, saturated, and trans fat in foods. These regulations in school cafeterias in the U.S. have incentives to implement the bill. For example, when a student gets a fruit and a vegetable on their tray at lunch, the school is given reimbursement money for lunches. The health regulations for school lunches in England are very similar to the ones in the U.S., but they seem to be not as strict as the regulations in the U.S. Foods with high salt and sugars and fats are restricted in cafeterias and in school vending machines, although cafeterias are allowed to have 2 deep-fried foods a week on the menu. England also has stipulations on the quality of the food served in school lunches. For example, school cafeterias in England are required to have high-quality meats and oily fish. Secondly, the prices of school lunches in U.S. and England. In the U.S., prices of school lunches are set by each individual district. Some families that cannot afford school lunch can apply for free or reduced lunch. The average prices of school lunches currently in the U.S. for elementary schools is $2.18. For middle schools, $2.37. For high school, $2.42. Although school lunches in England seem cheap to Americans, many families struggle to afford them. They cannot lower the price due to the regulations on the quality of their foods. As of right now, school lunches in England do not have a free or reduced lunch program like the U.S. But the government in England is trying to pass a law that makes the first 3 years of school lunches free. On average, school lunches in England cost anywhere from €1.25 to €2, which is $1.38 to $2.20 in America. Lastly, allergy regulations are very important in school lunches both in U.S. and England. The U.S. passed the Food Safety Modernization Act on January 4, 2011. This act made U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services able to make available developed policies to manage the risk of food allergy and anaphylaxis in schools. Although the U.S. does not have a specific policy about allergy regulations for school cafeteria, as the parents make the school aware of their child's allergy or allergies, the school is supposed to make faculty and staff aware of those allergies and train the staff accordingly. Students are to be protected in places where they may not be exposed to their allergies, like in school cafeterias. Like the U.S., in England, there is no specific policy that the school cafeteria has to follow for the allergies of the students in the school. As parents notify the school about their child's allergy or allergies, the school acts accordingly, and when in cafeterias, allergy-triggering foods are pointed out to those students with allergy issues. As we see, school lunches in the U.S. and England are similar and different in aspects of health regulations, prices, and allergy regulations. From this, we realize that school lunches do not differ very much from ours, and sometimes we take this privilege for granted. Next time we eat lunch at school, we should take all of these aspects into consideration.